Hello, everybody. All right, we're on the live. Let's see. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. Today we're going to talk about my expectations of 2020, and what I was focusing on, and how things turned out. So we'll start from the beginning. First, I'd like to say, if anybody gets on, in the Facebook group, please, like and let us know where you're watching from. All right. So we're gonna start off, the beginning of the year. So at the beginning of the year, I hired a business coach, and it's somebody I've been following for a while, and it's an online business coach because it's online business is what I've been focusing on for a while. I hired Rachel S. Lee, and she just started a program that was to get to 6 figures with your online business within a year. So it's a year-long coaching program, and it's something that I wasn't planning on getting it, but a couple of days before the new year, she was talking about it, and I was like, what, this thing could really be good for me, and had me really excited for the year. So that's how my year is starting. I'm still working my regular job, and so that's something like, for myself, I always I work, and then I try to do my business on the side. So it's always balancing work and everything else I'm doing. And another thing I was really trying to focus on this year was my health. I know I needed to lose some weight. I gained some weight the last couple of years, and getting back in shape. So that was the beginning of the year for me, was really trying to focus on that, and it was also about getting my book done. That's something I really wanted to accomplish this year. Let's see. So when we started with Rachel, one of the first things was picking a niche, and that's something I've always had a problem with, because my main focus is what I'm passionate the most about is helping raise awareness for organ donation. Many of you know I had a heart transplant 24 years ago, and it's something that I do. I go, I've spoken to people waiting for transplant. I try to support the, Children's Hospital. That's where I had my transplant. And I've talked to a few people over at USC where I'm seeing now. And, so that's my main passion, that, I want to have a nonprofit. I really want to raise awareness as much as I can for that, because that's what's, has been the affected my life the most, and I'm able to relate to people, because of my story, and I wanted to share that. So I did meet with Rachel, who's my mentor. She lives in Southern California, so we're able to meet up after work, and we met in Burbank, and we had a great conversation, and we're going over, the niche and how we're gonna focus on the next couple weeks, the next couple months, and this was a few weeks into January, where we were, trying to focus, and then it was, one of the biggest things in this program, and another program I got recently, was building your Facebook group. So that's why I keep going live on my Facebook group. Denise is online. Thanks, from Fontana. Yeah, thank you, Denise. So we're going over what the plan is for this year. So that was a great session I had with Rachel, and and it was really motivating, for me. Again, I still wasn't 100% with my niche. Like the Facebook group is called Building an Expert Business. I think it was something else when I first started Expert Online Business. And, but, I know that sharing your story, having a strong story is going to help you connect with your audience. And so that's why, recently that's what I've been doing. So we're focused on the Facebook group, and I'm also focused on building my email list. And, that hasn't been as easy for me, but, I have a few things that we're working on. And, and it was about going live. We're really focused on going live in your Facebook group, and even, and using a ladder. What is it called? It's called a value ladder. So you share on your Facebook, and then you share on your what are you doing? And you share on your in your Facebook group. So let's see. I also have been focused. It's been about a year and a half since I hired my publisher. We've had some good stuff going, but this is something not to do completely with my online business, but it does connect, down the road. And I really wanted to get my book done this year. So that was like one of my main focuses. So I've been in contact off and on with my publisher, and we were getting back on track with that. And then we have a accountability coach, this lady Stacia, and that's in the, with my mentor, with the program that I got for the year. And she's been great. She's helped me try to, figure out a niche. So one of the things I was going to do, Expert Secrets, I was going to go over a chapter every Facebook Live to give some value. And basically right when I was going to start that, I found out I had cancer. So everything changed. Everything, came to a halt. And, honestly, everything, work, my business, I basically was only going to work like 1 or 2 days a week. I was calling off, and I was taking time off because as soon as we found out I had cancer, I had to, we just had to start doing a lot of tests. Right after I had a biopsy, a couple of days later, I'm going in for blood tests, and I don't care about, honestly, mentally, I didn't care about work. I didn't care about, my online the business. Then I didn't care about the book. I didn't care about anything. And not to say that I didn't care about it, it just wasn't a priority for me at the time. And I knew I had to, the biggest thing for me was, sharing with my family. That was the biggest, the hardest obstacle for me was sharing with my family. I talked about this last time, but it's something I want to stress. For me, I didn't take it very hard when I heard I had cancer. It's not anything anybody wants to hear, but I do feel I'm strong enough to handle it. I feel confidence in my doctors, my team, the Lord. But it's just real hard having to tell people that you care about, that you're going through something like that, because automatically they look at you, they just look at you real sad. It's something hard, especially if you care about the people that you're telling. So I had to, accept what I was going through, which was also something I had to deal with. But it was a little bit easier for me because I've been through so many other things, going back, having the heart transplant and I had a bunch of other surgeries. And then right when we talked to, I actually met with the cancer doctor, and I met with the cancer surgeon. Like 2 days later, everything happens with COVID. And when that happened, we're just basically on lockdown. My sister, she works for emergency management for Rec and Parks, the city of LA, and she had she's hearing what's going on. So I was really, and she was working a lot, so I really didn't want to be there. I was staying away from being at the house, at my parents' house, and at my sister and her kids, and I wasn't really in contact with anybody. I was just basically home by myself, because knowing that I'm gonna have to have surgery, I don't want to get sick before this. And and I know I have to prepare myself mentally, physically for a surgery. The plan was right before was to start, really juicing, and to start, exercising in the morning, because I was going to get off work, a couple weeks before my surgery. And again, COVID happened. Nobody wants, especially in my situation, I have a low immune system. Not trying to be at the markets, and then everybody knows right after it happened, there was everything was being bought up, and then I couldn't really go out. Wasn't really feeling safe to go out and do stuff. It's like, don't get me wrong, I could have, but I just wasn't feeling safe to do it, so I didn't do it. And maybe it was a little bit of an excuse. And I really kind of shied away from everything with my business. I reached out to to Rachel, my mentor, and I told her, I go, look, I just found out I have cancer. I'm gonna have surgery soon. I need to put a hold on this program, because it's just not a priority in my life right now. She understood. She did it, which was great. And it gave me, because the program's kind of expensive. It was a monthly payment, but it's I believe it's so worth it, and I would pay more for it. And now I'm just waiting to have my surgery, because I had like 3 weeks, I believe, before my surgery. But I'm basically home alone, and don't get me wrong, I have amazing friends, amazing family, neighbors, and the cool thing about my apartment is we get to go up on the roof, and we kind of, it's a amazing place to zone out, just be alone. The neighbors go up sometimes, but it's just a great place to zone out. It's a nice view. It's so that was kind of like one of the places where I really was able to be alone with my thoughts. Not like I wasn't alone anyways, being home, but just having not being inside. But I would also say, being home is nothing to me. I was in the hospital for 7 months, just about, when I was younger, and and I was in a bed, and I was how do you say it? I was I was hooked up to IVs. I had an LVAD, and these things, that's hard. Like that's hard. So this is nothing. Like, I'm able to walk around if I really want. So I go downstairs. I could do. You have freedom. So this wasn't a big deal for me, and I know it's different for everybody else, but that's just it was the one thing that really was hard was right before my surgery. I was told that I wasn't able to go. Nobody's able to go with you, which I knew was going to happen, but it's just different when somebody tells you. And they did tell me that at first that I was going to have a different kind of surgery, and then they changed that to where they opened me up. They went down my stomach, and they cut open my stomach to get out the tumor. And it's something that, yes, I have a lot of support, and I'm super blessed to have that. I have amazing friends, amazing family. But when you go through something like this, and I've been through a few of them, you're doing it by yourself. And you have to really, in my opinion, you have to really be ready for anything. And, you have to mentally prepare yourself, for the journey, and, that's how it was. The morning, the night before, I was surprisingly a lot calmer than I thought I would be, the surgery. And when I did go to the hospital, my mom and dad did take me, and they dropped me off right there in the front. And surprisingly, I wasn't too scared. I was more in the mood of, fuck it, I'm gonna handle this, and we're gonna move on. And that's exactly how I felt. Luckily, I had a friend who she works in the morning, and she was texting me. I was texting my family, and it kind of helped me not focus on it. I'll tell a story. When I was in the so you go to an OR prep before you have your surgery, and so you just have to prepare your body for surgery. And you get in the gown, you do this and you do that, and then I was getting wheeled in to the OR, and I'm laying in the bed getting wheeled in. I look to my side, and there's all these knives and medical instruments, and it just was fucking scary to see all that stuff that I know they're going to use on my body to open it up. And that was just one of many, because it's a big, it's a pretty decent sized OR. And and then I was just like, I'm thinking in my head, because I've had many surgeries, I've had many biopsies, I've had a lot of things done, but all I could think about was, please knock me out already, because I don't want to keep looking around this room, because there's a lot of instruments that they had that just had my eyes like going wide, and trying not to be too scared. But luckily they put me out very fairly quickly after that, and I woke up. And and when I woke up, you're by yourself, but I have my phone. The nurses are amazing at USC Keck, and the doctors. And when you first get out of surgery, you're pretty drugged up, so you're not really feeling pain. And it wasn't bad. I thought I was gonna feel more like more scared or whatever, but I really wasn't. And how do you say it? They, especially right now during during this COVID thing, they're not trying to keep you in the hospital very long. So they how do you say it? They're trying to get you out. In order to leave the hospital, I don't know, many of you probably don't know, you have to do a few things. You have to be able to eat, you have to be able to piss, and you have to be able to shit. So those are like the criteria for somebody to get out of the hospital after a surgery, major surgery. And they were going to let me out, I think, the next day, but it didn't happen that way. Something wasn't working yet. And it wasn't until the next day I was able to go out. And then so one thing I did ask, and which was, I don't know if people, I think it was a little interesting. I did ask the nurse, are there COVID patients here? And there were. They said they had a floor dedicated to them. So, what do you call it? That was interesting to know that, they had a whole floor that was dedicated to the patients, that had COVID. Which it didn't bother me. I know, being a heart transplant patient, When it, back when I was younger, I used to have my own room with my own I guess air, you know, my own air, airflow or whatever, and so I know the hospitals are great at keeping things, separate. Um, and then my parents picked me up, and that I don't know how many of you have had surgery, especially when it's down your stomach, your chest. On the ride home after a surgery, it's super hard. It's something that you don't the little bumps really kick your butt. And you know at first I thought I was going to go to my parents' house to rest, but I was able to come to my house, my apartment, and I had my cousin Mondo, who's a firefighter. He helped me up the stairs, and my mom and dad. My mom stayed with me for about a week and a half, which was very supportive, and she's just amazing. Um, let's see. You know, I did know after a couple of days, I knew I needed to get back on track. I was talking to some people. I posted that I'm doing better, and I got a lot of support right there. And I knew, I was like, you know what? I survived something else again, and it's time for me to tell my story. It's time for me to share with people, and I don't know if I'm inspiring anybody, or I don't know what exactly people are taking from this. And please let me know if you're taking anything from me sharing. But I just know when I was young and I was going through, waiting for a transplant, just to know that somebody was 24 years post-transplant was something that would have gave me a lot of encouragement. And that's the biggest reason why I'm sharing. And now with this cancer, I've had one surgery. It went great. And, we're waiting for another one. And, I feel everything's going to go good again. And I feel I'm going to get better. And I'm going to be able to really, step it up this year. I don't care what's going on in the world. I don't care about COVID. I mean, I'm not trying to get it, of course, but this is an online business that I'm focusing on. And, like you could see, I could make videos from my house, and I could, go live. I could do so many things. So I'm not, focused on, on the rest of the stuff. I just need to be healthy, and I need to, take care of myself. Something happened this week. I finished the first draft of my book, which has been something I was very upset. I was very hard on myself. I am very hard on myself, but how do you say it? I finished my first draft of my book. It's off to the editor, and that's something that I was very upset about. But going into my first surgery, knowing that I didn't do it, I wasn't there yet, because it's it's my fault for not doing stuff faster. But it things happen at the right time. I was able to share more now because of this experience, and I'm focused on sharing and doing these videos. I'm getting back to I got back into the mode with my business coach, my mentor Rachel and her program. Stacia, who is the accountability coach, is amazing. She's been great through this whole process, and my friends and family who are amazing. They actually did. My birthday was April 18th. That was about a week. Was it a week? A week and a half after my surgery, and they did like a drive-by where they're all honking and doing different things, and everybody's just been supportive. I've been getting tons of support with everybody from the post and the YouTube, and all I ask for people is If you have anything, any questions, if you have any comments, please just leave them in the comment section on the YouTube. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. And that's about it. Thank you tonight for watching, taking the time, and I'll see you guys soon.